Good shot from Holland, but also it's good bowling from Plunkett as well. You know, he's bowling to the big boundary. It's probably 75, 80 yards. So to get pulled for a boundary, it's going to be hard from a batting point of view. And if there's a bit of extra bounce on the wicket, he brings his deep square leg into play for a catch. So it's clever bowling from the experienced man.
Here he comes again. Runs away from us, does Plunkett. This is short to Vince, and he's cut that for 4. Gorgeous shot from James Vince. It was short and it was wide, and James Vince has managed to get that past the left hand of Jamie Smith at backward point, whistles away for 4.
I think Plunkett tried to go an off-cutter there, just a little bit too much width. The right idea with the field change that he made. He obviously took his deep mid-wicket back to the boundary and has a deep square leg out already, so ideally he would have wanted that to be a little bit straighter to Vince, but Vince is a cast player and he'll put that ball away.
25 of the 40 for James Vince as Plunkett's into, and Vince turns this one into the leg side, sensibly played, boundary, and then just whips the ball out towards Jamie Overton at deep backward square, and they'll pick up a single. End of the over, so that's the end of the power play for Hampshire, and they're 41 for 2. Those 2 wickets to go. Munsey bowled first ball of the game by Topley without scoring, and then Organ stumped by Folkes off Jacks for 8. But at the moment, James Vince is looking pretty good. 26 from 20, and Holland keeping him company at the other end.
It certainly shows. Look at someone like Somerset with a Babar Azam. People think that Babar doesn't score quickly, but you look at his strike rate, he scores extremely quickly, but does it with just good cricket shots. And he's a banker in this format of the game. He just seems to get the job done consistently, and it's what we're lacking. We're lacking a out-and-out run scorer at the top of the order in this format.
So it's going to be Dan Moriarty. Here we go. Dan Moriarty into the attack from the hotel end, bowling as always in his sunglasses, and he'll be coming in left arm round the wicket to James Vince, and Vince, the first ball, just tucks it away into the leg side. He'll pick up a single, and Vince moves on to 27. Hampshire move on to 42 for 2.
I've only seen him once there, but it looks quite effortless, doesn't it? I mean, walks up to the crease and there's it looks very effortless. Easy pace on the ball, looks really nice.
There's no great histrionics to him. Just gets on with the job. He's in again, and Holland works this one into the leg side. He's got his 3 back on the leg side rope, sweeper on the cover rope.
You'd expect him to get quite a bit of bounce. You obviously see more of him than what I have, but from his height,
quite quick as well.
Yeah, he definitely looks like that.
Yeah. As in round the wicket he comes to Vince. Vince, gone, stumped by Dan Moriarty. Danced down the pitch, bit flatter. And Ben Folkes, as always, as quick as a flash with those bails. Good bit of bowling from Dan Moriarty. Saw Vince coming, just fizzed it in there again. And Vince goes for 27. Moriarty has his first, and Hampshire are 3 down.
Excellent bit of bowling. The 2 balls previous to that, little bit slower, but that one he's pushed through and seen Vince come down the pitch, and a great bit of work by Ben Folkes. But clever bowling from Moriarty there, reading what James Vince was going to do and executing it brilliantly.
Well, that's his 12th wicket of the competition so far, Dan Moriarty, in his first season. The other thing, of course, he was the leading wicket taker in the Bob Willis Trophy as well. Yeah, picked up, hang on, top of my head, 12 against Sussex in the last game in the game. 5 for on debut. I think we worked out he's the first bloke in Championship cricket in his first 2 games playing against the 2 counties to take 3 consecutive fivers. So he's done it in all forms of the game.
Yeah, it's a great effort. I mean, it's not always easy bowling, just finger spin in England, as a lot of people know, but for someone to come in and start as well as he has, that's only a positive with Surrey, especially with having Verdi as well in the 4-day team. So next year you could potentially play on spinning pitches at the Oval, because they can go pretty flat and dead from my experience of playing on them. Beautiful to bat on, but
absolutely,
it's a grind to get results there for sure.
It is. So Tom Scriven is out there now, 43 for 3, as Moriarty is into Scriven, and Scriven's off the mark straight away. Just pushes this one down to the right of Rhys Topley, who does the fielding, and Scriven moves on to 1. Holland comes on to strike on 6. So Munsey gone without scoring, Organ gone for 8, Vince gone for 27. 43 for 3. As Moriarty, left arm round the wicket he comes to Holland, who'll turn this one into the leg side, and they'll just take the single. Long way up to come for Jamie Smith from deep mid-wicket.
He looks like a hard bowler to sweep because he seems to drive it into the wicket at a good pace. So the Hampshire batsmen are going to have to work that out pretty quickly and try and use the pace as opposed to try and hard sweep.
He's feisty as well. As this one open face, running it down towards short third man. Scriven, very good first over from Dan Moriarty. 7 gone. The wicket of James Vince. The other thing I like about Dan Moriarty is he takes big wickets, and by that what I mean is the big players. He likes a big scalp, a bit like Sam. When Sam first started for Surrey, it was always the big names. It was always the internationals he liked to tick off. But no, he's been really impressive so far this summer.
I think that's a good trait to have, though, isn't it? You don't, if you enjoy bowling to those players that the bigger players, the international players, and if you get those players out, you bowl well to them. It gives you so much confidence as an individual.
Kevin James against India.
Yeah, you can tell everyone about that in a minute.
Yeah. He hasn't mentioned it yet. So Jamie Overton down below us. Still time. Ready to come in to the attack for the first time today. And he's on a length straight away, and this is driven by Holland back up the pitch. It hits Overton on the boot. Ricochets away. Didn't bowl against Sussex, Jamie Overton.
I think, Jamie Overton's an interesting one. I think you face him in red ball cricket and you find him a real threat. Because he seems to have improved and he can swing the ball at pace. But sometimes in one-day cricket, you feel that you can get after him because of his pace, bit erratic sometimes. So I think his economy rate in this competition hasn't been great.
I've got.
So he's a bowler that Hampshire should certainly look to target.
Here he comes, in over the wicket to Scriven. Scriven pushes this one down in front of him, and there's no run. His batting has been a revelation, though. Absolute revelation in this competition.
It's always good if you have an all-rounder that can whack it at the end of the innings.
He'll be delighted you've used the word all-rounder, because in the interview I did with him the other night, he said Somerset never looked at him as being an all-rounder.
I think every time you play against him, you feel that he can, he could easily bat number 8 and do a very, very good job.
He said that's one of his main reasons for making the move to Surrey, is he wants to be treated like an all-rounder. In over the wicket he comes to Scriven, and Scriven gets a short ball, just opens the face, drops it away down towards backward point. They'll take the single as Laurie Evans comes up to do the fielding.
He actually got 100, didn't he, for Somerset? Was it maybe Warwick against Warwickshire, maybe?
Yeah, the start of the Bob Willis. But the 40-odd he made the other night against Sussex was brilliant. Just walked out there and smashed it to all parts and walked off.
He's a strong boy. Big, tall lad.
We hit 1-4 where his bat broke in half and he was just left with the handle, and it still went miles. As here he comes once again then. In over the wicket to Holland, short ball, and Holland's looking to pull this, and he's one of those clever slower ball bouncers.
I always felt with Jamie as well that Somerset used him not in the right way that you should use him. I've always felt that he's actually a lot more skillful than what they did use him as. They just used to use him as a bowler that would come in and try and knock your head off, bowl a lot of short balls, especially in 4-day cricket, but he's actually got a lot more skill than that. In 4-day cricket, he bowls good pace and can swing the ball both ways. So, I'm not convinced they used him right down there.
It's in again, over the wicket. This one's cut away by Holland, out towards Jamie Smith, who's sweeping on that cover boundary. Has to come round to his left, so that enables them to get back for 2 more. That'll take Holland on to 10 and move Hampshire on to 49 for 3. The interesting thing, that last game against Sussex, Rory Burns came back to captain. You could almost see him just stood there at first slip watching Overton, thinking, yeah, that'll be good for next year. Then Moriarty came on and you could see him just sitting there. Oh, Moriarty and Birdie, this is lovely.
Did you plan hybrid pitches?
There is a hybrid pitch at Surrey. I don't think, have they played a game? They haven't this year played a game on there. The only hybrid they've come across was the one at Lord's for the 2020 game, I think. As here comes Overton again. This is down the leg side. This will be wide signalled. Holland looking to flick that one down towards fine leg. There are a few hotel rooms being used. I just wonder if some Surrey supporters have definitely come down, because I can see 2 Surrey flags there. So there's some Surrey supporters, I think, that have come down and got themselves a hotel room and have sat on their balconies in the sun watching a bit of cricket.
A few beers,
nice
bit of room service,
especially at this time.
What a day!
Especially at this time, as Overton down below us once again comes charging in past umpire Rob Bailey. That wide was the 50, as that one nips back, bounces a touch. Scriven looking to run it down to third man. Mr. Dawson's off for a bit, but he'll be back later. And Kevin James will come back onto commentary after 8 overs. Hampshire, Kevin James, 50 for 3.
Yeah, another tough start for the county, and when this game isn't going for you, it ain't going for you. It's a tough, isn't it, to stem that tide. And now, of course, Hampshire suffering not just on the pitch with poor form, now finding players having to self-isolate. They are without Sam Northeast, just to repeat, Mason Crane and also Lewis McManus, who are awaiting results from COVID tests.
Yes.
Here's Moriarty then, the impressive Moriarty, and that's pushed out on the offside by Scriven at the start of a new over. Scriven playing just his second T20 match, the first one here against Gloucestershire 2 years ago. So he's been drafted into the side, one would imagine, because of all these players self-isolating. Scriven's on the back foot, turns that to backward point. And there is no run, fielded by Rory Burns.
Worked out quite well, that. Not great from a Hampshire point of view, but me giving it the big end to Dawson about Moriarty, and then he stuffed James Vince.
He did, yes. It's interesting, Dawson made a great comment, didn't he? The way he sort of slams it into the pitch. Oh, big shout for an LBW, and he's gone. Scriven goes for 2. Just tried to play that on the onside. Obviously played it from a little too straight. If you're watching the live stream, the replay's coming up right now. Just watching Moriarty bowl, and Scriven just came across that a little bit, didn't he? Just fell over the shot a fraction, was trying to play it square on the leg side. He goes for 2, and Hampshire's batting woes continue.
Yeah, you had a feeling the finger was going to go up. Just looked out from here. We're a long way away, but it was just the shape of the shot, really. So it's 2 now for Moriarty, 2 for 4. And Dan Moriarty enjoying himself again in the sun here at the Aegeus Bowl.
Oh dear. So that's we're in the 9th over here, as Surrey won the toss, elected to field first. Looks a good decision, putting Hampshire under pressure immediately.
Well, they always talk about setting the tempo, don't they? That's what they always talk about. And that first delivery from Reece Topley to Muncy, I'm not sure there was a lot Muncy could have done with that, to be honest with you. It was a terrific Yorker.
It was.
And it just that did the old set the tempo, didn't it?
You can always tell when a batsman sort of leaves the bat there, when they've played a decent straight defensive shot and they hold the bat there saying, I've played that with a full face, but I'm still beaten.
Oh, where have my stumps gone?
Yes. Now James Fuller, who's been well, a reasonably bright light with the bat in the last few games. Moriarty bowls to him, is on the back foot, turns that out deep into the covers. And that'll be a single, so Fuller's off the mark. Couple of half centuries from him in this competition this season, both unbeaten and both come off a pretty high scoring rate. So, well, one hopes that he might be able to stick around for a little while. Moriarty from that hotel end. He does, I was just saying about Liam Dawson, said he really sort of not throws the ball into the pitch, but you know what I mean when I say that. There's a quick 2 out on the leg side, he has to hurry. Throw comes in, my word. Holland had to scamper through those last few yards. But he does, doesn't he? Fires it in.
Yeah, he does. And it's almost undercutting it.
Yes.
At times is Dan Moriarty. Yeah, Fuller, I was looking at his stats before we came on air. Leading run scorer in the comp for Hampshire, now 186, and he's striking at 139.
It's not bad, is it? In a side where they've struggled with the bat, has to be said. Holland's on the back foot and forces that up to deep mid-off. 54 for 4. And that will be the end of the 9th. So hopefully Hampshire have still got 11 overs remaining. You look at the board and you think, well, I hope they keep their some wickets intact anyway and bat out the full 20 overs. But yeah, Moriarty, I can see. I mean, I know you've talked about him. You talked about him at the Oval a few games back, and here he is again. And you have to say, you can start to see now why he's been so successful.
Yeah, and I just think he's a young man who's got a perfect start. And there's just something about left arm spinners, isn't it? They're crafty, aren't they?
The best ones are.
Yeah. It's just, and he's a bit crafty, is Moriarty, I think. Now, Will Jacks comes back into the attack. He's already bowled a couple. He's going to bowl his 3rd over. Coming in over the wicket here to Holland. The 10th over, reverse sweep from Holland. And did he get any bat on that? That may have just hit the pads of Ben Folkes and ricocheted away down towards short fine leg. If he has got bat on that, he's played an extraordinary shot, because he's played the reverse sweep and reverse swept it behind Ben Folkes to short fine leg, which is a clever trick. But he gets a single, and Holland moves on to 14. Hampshire move on to 55 for 4. So James Fuller comes on to strike as Jacks is into him and Fuller's down the ground, slamming this one down towards Liam Plunkett. Down below us at long on, and Fuller will move on to 2. Of course, took the hat-trick against Surrey at Arundel.
Yes,
James
he
Fuller bowled very well.
We enjoyed
56 for 4. Hampshire now. Hampshire, of course, in the yellow shirts with the yellow pads. And as Mr. Kevin James was saying, the duck egg blue of Surrey as this is turned. Leg side by Holland off Jacks. He'll get a single down towards short fine leg. One more to the total, 57 for 4.
Yeah, I must admit, until you said duck egg blue, I didn't know. I would have said aquarium blue, I suppose.
I think that's the official term.
Is it?
As stumped? Yes? No? Oh, Ben Folkes may have. Now, is that what have they gone up for here? That was a stumping chance, but I'm not sure Ben Folkes for once took it cleanly. It definitely turned again by Jacks, and he was down the pitch. Was Fuller. Be interested to see that again on the live stream. I think that may be a stumping chance.
Yeah, Fuller got his bat back in here.
Yeah, as Jacks is over the wicket again. This one's turned into the leg side by Fuller. He'll get a single. He's got a couple of stumpings there. I think what did him was the bounce. I think he had so far to come back down with the ball that enabled Fuller to get back in. Nice bit of bowling again from Jacks, though. 58 for 4.
I repeat, poor old Mason Crane not bowling on here.
Exactly. This one's cut away by Holland. Out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope as the throw comes in. One bounce over the top of the stump, so the halfway point for Hampshire. And they find themselves 58 for 4 with Holland on 16 and Fuller on 3.
Yeah, so the men out so far. Muncie for no score, Organ for 8, 27 Vince and 2 to Tom Scriven. Don't forget, of course, you can watch the live pictures this game by the Hampshire Cricket website or the app. Hampshire Cricket app is free to download, so you can have that on your phone wherever you want to go. And of course we are the BBC Sport website. 59 for 4, here's Moriarty from the hotel end, bowls, and that's worked out on the onside by Holland. Runs the first one quickly, it's going out towards deep mid-on. Fuller's running to the danger end, he's okay.
It's good running, really good running. That reminds me so much of what we've been seeing back in South London. Just a little dink down the ground. Jamie Smith coming sprinting up from long on, but it's a long way to come up. So you're always going to get 2. If you hammer the first one, you're probably more likely than not to get back for the second.
Just slightly left of centre here, aren't we, on the wickets as we look. And Holland off a thick outside edge gets that to backward point. That's fielded by Burns. Yeah, the out of the 2 boundaries, the slightly shorter one, and it's still long, is to our left, the west side of the ground as we look. We're at the pavilion end, not our usual hotel end. Now that's on the onside. I think they may look for 2 here, although this time deep mid-wicket comes in. Quickly on, I think a direct throw, and Fuller was struggling. Who's that throwing that one?
That's Will Jacks.
My word, that was quick.
Yeah, they didn't really set off for the first one there.
Not convincingly.
No, so that enabled Jacks to have a shy at the stumps. If that had hit, I think he was gone, Fuller.
I think you're right. I think they all thought it was going up to Smith at mid-on, didn't they? 63 for 4 here in the 11th. Here's Moriarty, who is in his 3rd over. Impressive figures. A 2 for 12, wrapped on the pad there, Holland, but he's taken a pace or 2 down the wicket. Again, it goes out to Burns at point.
It's been a while since there's been a boundary as well, from a Hampshire perspective.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Losing early wickets doesn't help, does it? Here's Moriarty again, this left arm round, and that's a cutaway past Burns' right hand. It's going out to deep in the covers, fielded by Jamie Overton. I think that Surrey shirt suits him.
Yeah, it does. Well, he's also one bloke you do not take on his arm. Jamie Overton. He has got such a powerful arm sweeping up on that cover boundary, right?
It's a big boundary out there, isn't it? That is 75 yards plus. As Fuller gets one that's on the leg stump, and he turns it away on the leg side, and they're coming back for 2. There's a misfield. Fortunately, so I thought that was risking the throw. Was it who was it there again?
Will Jacks.
Will Jacks. I just thought that was a bit of a worry, but I think in his eagerness to get the ball in quickly, Jacks just took his eye off the ball at the last minute. 66 for 4.
It's almost a bit like playing that game we used to play at school, chicken. You're sort of asking the fielder, do you want to? Do you really want to? Are you going to take it on? And Will Jacks came sprinting in on that occasion, but overran the ball a touch. So that enabled them to get back for 2. So 11 gone, 9 left, 66 for 4 Hampshire. Liam Plunkett back into the attack down below us at the pavilion end. here on BBC Radio Seoul and BBC Radio London, and on the Hampshire live stream, of course. And, well, it looks an absolute picture today with this weather. Blue sky, sun beating down. Few people in the hotel rooms watching on their balconies in the big comfy chairs as Plunkett is in, and this one's turned up the ground towards mid-on. And they'll pick up a single. That'll be one more to Holland. He moves on to 22. Rory Burns will know his way around here very, very well. Yes. After this summer, won't he?
He will. He'll be used to an empty stadium here, won't he?
It was interesting what he was saying about, for him, he found it difficult in the bubble in the fact that you never got away from the cricket. You'd finish at this end of the ground at a day's play and just walk to the other end as Plunkett's in, and Fuller slaps at this bottom edge, runs away down towards third man, and they'll pick up a single. One more to the total.
But then, to be fair, most teams that stay here, and most teams do, don't they, experience that even in normal times, don't they? I mean, the only thing you can get, the only way you can get away from the cricket is to play some golf.
Yep.
Otherwise, you'll feel like you really are sort of enclosed.
Well, I suppose, probably in a way, Old Trafford was even more acute in that there wasn't even a golf course. You were just stuck in the concourse, basically. As Plunkett runs away from us to Holland on 22, and Holland's turning down towards fine leg, and they'll pick up a single as Moriarty comes up to do the fielding. It'd
be interesting, actually. I don't think the question's been asked amongst the many dozens and dozens of interviews that there's been over the summer, whether they preferred to be here in the bubble or at the Old Trafford in the bubble. Whether you get a straight answer or not, of course, would be a different matter, or whether there is really any difference. It probably isn't.
I think probably having the golf course helps. If you could even just go for a wander.
I did hear in the early stages of the bubble. I'll come back to that.
Plunkett's into Fuller, and Fuller cuts in front of square through the offside out towards the sweeper, Gus Atkinson, and it's had a bobble and a misfield from Gus Atkinson, and it's a boundary. So our first boundary for quite some time. It was well struck. He got round there, Gus Atkinson, but it somehow got through him for 4.
Yeah, I'll be disappointed with that. I did hear, because I played a bit of golf on the course before, of course, well, you could still play golf, that wasn't a problem, but before the bubble and the England team arrived and that sort of thing. And I did hear, somebody on the golf course did say that actually when they looked in the book for tee times being booked up over the next few days, they all had the name Ben Stokes on them.
Brilliant. As here is Plunkett. Oh, short, slower delivery. Lovely bit of bowling that. Just stuck it in the pitch. And to say Fuller was through that early would be an understatement. He played that shot yesterday. He was that early on it. Couple of bounces and into the gloves of Ben Folkes. Very good delivery that from Liam Plunkett. And it's 73 for 4.
It's a well-disguised slower ball, that, isn't it?
Very clever. Played about 4 different shots at that. In the end, James Fuller still didn't get any bat on it. Charging in again is Plunkett. Comes over the wicket to the right-handed Fuller, who's forward. Pushes this one down the ground. They'll get a single as Jamie Smith comes round from mid-on to do the retrieval work. End of the over, 12 gone, so 8 left. And Hampshire 74 for 4.
I got a tweet earlier, actually. Apologies for missing this one at Solent Sport. I did tweet just to say that several of the Hampshire players were self-isolating, waiting a COVID test. North East, McManus and Crane. Steve Grant said anybody of a betting persuasion should have been all over Surrey at 1-2. And that angle was before the team sheet was revealed with 3 key players absent. I mean, I'm not a betting man, so I don't know what odds of 1-2 mean, but I guess if one team is pretty much, I wouldn't say guaranteed. When you ever guaranteed a win, you're not. But when you look at the form guide, Hampshire have lost 5 coming into this. Sorry, won 5 coming into this. It would sort of suggest that Surrey will win this, but 1-2, I suppose, in a 2-horse race, apparently it might be decent odds, I don't know. Maybe you know more about odds than I do.
I don't know anything. Genuinely, that doesn't mean anything to me.
3 overs, no maidens, 2 for 15 for Daniel Moriarty, the left-arm spinner. Here he is bowling his 4th and last as Fuller works that on the onside. Now that's going up to deep mid-on, and Smith is a few yards. Is that Smith again, or has they've changed him? No, it's Smith.
That's Smith down there.
He's come in a couple of extra yards off the boundary at that hotel end, and there was never 2 there, that's for sure. 75 for 4. Holland's on 23, facing the next delivery. Moriarty bowls, and Holland works out on the onside, and it's gone out to Jacks this time, and again there'll only be a single.
I've just worked out, because they tweeted me, that is the great Surrey Ultra up there, who's got his hotel room And he's got his good Caroline over there, and they've got their flags out. Probably the first cricket they've seen this summer.
Yeah, there's been a few out there, up there in the last few games here. That's played back to the bowler. Slight leading edge there as Fuller was trying to work that on the onside. Sorry. Yeah, I think actually, if anything, there's probably a few more on the balcony than there has been. But of course, how lucky for a 2 o'clock check-in. If it's one of those where it's 4 o'clock, you miss most of the game. Now that's edged, and it's 1 bounce on the 45. And I don't. Yes, they did get a single. That's well fielded from Reece Topley.
He did well there actually, because it just spun off the turf as well.
Did very
But
well.
yeah, nice way to spend your afternoon, isn't it? In the sun, watching the cricket.
Yep. This side is in shade. It's the far side that's in the sun. 77 for 4. Moriarty bowls, and Holland works that a little bit harder this time. So Will Jacks finds the ball arriving at him a little bit quicker. And that'll be just a single as well. And the Hampshire total moves on to 78 for 4. Bit of a recovery here, having been 50 for 4. The last game here against Essex, they were 38 for 6. Cool. So batting woes for Hampshire in this competition. It's pushed back to the bowler. That'll be the end of Moriarty's spell. 4 overs, 2 for 19.
Yeah, very good again from Dan Moriarty. That's 13 wickets in the competition now for Dan Moriarty. An economy rate of around about 6, so he's gone very well in the competition this summer. As I say, he's impressed a few people who know far more about all of this than I do. And
on the contrary,
no, they do. Jamie Overton is continuing. I must say, I do like your new commentary box, Kevin James.
Yeah,
very spacious.
Well, it should be, because it doubles up as a hospitality box. And
sofa there at the back, very nice. A couple of sofas in here.
Carpet,
lovely. Lots of space. Jamie Overton from the pavilion end coming in over the wicket. Oh, and this is slapped down the ground. He's got quite a bit of this, has Holland. That's a good shot from Ian Holland. Has it gone all the way? Just watching umpire Bailey. He's just waiting for a signal. Yep, 6.
Super shot.
He's played that very, very nicely. Didn't try and hit it too hard, actually. And straight down the ground and away for 6 runs. That's our first 6 of the game. Holland's on to 31. Hampshire move on to 84 for 4. Jamie Overton striding in again to Holland. Short ball. Holland works it leg side. Wants 2. Jacks is up again. Jacks with the throw. Holland safely homes. Good running from Holland and good running from Fuller. And a good little partnership developing here. Hampshire 86 for 4.
Yeah, 36 these two have put on. He's getting a bit of bounce there, Overton, isn't he, as well? And actually, that's quite a good shot as well, because he's on the back foot and actually hitting that in front of square. And that's not easy when there's a bit of extra bounce.
He's got 2 back on that leg side rope. The fine leg third man sweeper on the cover rope. As Overton's in again to Holland. Short one. Holland's looking to hook this. It followed him. He jumped outside the leg stump. And followed by Jamie Overton. That's why no wide signalled from umpire Bailey. Just followed Holland as he took his holiday towards square leg. And 86 for 4. They're going to bring the fine leg up and drop the mid on back to long on. So off goes Jamie Smith down to long on. Turning again is Jamie Overton. Comes in over the wicket to Holland, backs away to a slower ball, and then has to really stretch to get to it, and can only push it straight back up the pitch to Overton. Good bit of bowling from Overton once again. Nice change of pace from Jamie Overton.
Very nice. Just looking at some of the other South Group games taking place this afternoon, there's wickets falling everywhere, really. Essex Eagles 94 for 4 against Kent. Middlesex 92 for 5 against Sussex.
Well, Middlesex win that. They're still in with a shout of a quarter-final. Lose it, they're not. So it's a must-win, I suppose. As here comes Overton. Short ball pulled away by Ian Holland out towards deep mid-wicket. There's Will Jacks again to do the fielding. Holland moves on to 34. Hampshire move on to 87 for 4. As I understand it, all the quarter-finals will be on the 1st of October. And then, of course, finals day will be on the 3rd of October.
Yeah. Good job you haven't got to sell tickets.
Cool.
Good job you haven't got to flog tickets for it.
It's going to be interesting as Overton runs away from us, comes into Fuller, and Fuller just cramped for room, trying to work it leg side, hits his thigh guard, runs away down to backward point. Jason Roy doing the fielding in there, playing his first T20 game of the summer for Surrey. 14 overs gone, so 6 are left, and Hampshire are 88 for 4, 10 off the over.
Mind you, I was just wondering if I saw an article suggesting that there was going to be some fans attending. I think originally there was a plan, wasn't there?
Yes, there was all this talk of the 1st of October, wasn't there? And I think that's why they pushed it back, to try and see whether they could get fans in for the quarterfinals and finals day.
Yeah, there was originally plans in August for some crowds, but I don't know if there's been an update on that actually. Anyway, it won't concern Hampshire anyway. I'll let Surrey worry about that. 88 for 4, 6 overs remain. And it's going to be Liam Plunkett to switch ends from the hotel end. 2 overs, none for 16. He's bowling to James Fuller, and it's outside the off stump. Fuller works that away just behind square on the onside. And that's fielded by Moriarty.
Well, on a serious point with that, Surrey have already shown that they can have. Well, you were there for the Hampshire T20.
2.5.
2.5. We're in for that. So
1,000.
Surrey know how to do it, but it's whether they're going to be allowed to, I suppose. But more on that will come over the next few days, I would have thought.
Yes, I have to say, it doesn't feel as though it's going in the right direction, does it really? Here's Plunkett again then, bowling to Holland. Holland drives hard up to mid-off. Oh, it's misfielded. Oh, and it's going to go all the way as well. Well, the run-out chance was on if it had been picked up cleanly.
Yeah,
but it wasn't.
Laurie Evans up there. I think, as you say, he was thinking about the run-out before the ball was in his hands. So that's a couple now. Gus Atkinson with that misfield that went over the boundary rope, and that one from Laurie Evans.
I have to say, it sort of went in his hands as well, and he took some of the pace off the shot. Actually, Ian Holland really did get hold of that. 38, Holland's moved on to. It's come off 35 balls. Here's his 36th bowl by Plunkett, and that's hit away on the onside. Has he got enough on it? I think he has. It has. It's gone 2 rows back. 6 runs off the bat of Ian Holland.
That's a great shot, isn't it? It really is. Length delivery, and he's just slung that over the leg side, and Will Jacks out there sort of stood like a bird was flying over his head. He just looked up, didn't he, and watched it go straight over his head and into the seats for 6. Good hand this from Holland, 44 now.
Yeah, 99 for 4. He seems to be improving all the time. He's out there in the middle as Plunkett comes in. It's short and it's cut away high in the air, but safe down towards third man. Topley comes round. They'll come back for 2, and Holland moves on to 46, and that's the Hampshire 100 up, and that has come up in the 15th.
Yeah, very good. 50 partnership as well between these two now. Very good partnership. Much needed by Hampshire. Very good partnership. He's enjoyed his games against Surrey this season, Ian Holland.
Yes, yeah, he's certainly batting better than he has done of late in this competition. But you could probably say that about most of the Hampshire batting. They've really struggled a little bit. Now, interestingly, when we played slightly to the right here against Kent, Hampshire couldn't defend a total of 180, but then Zach Crawley got stuck in there, which he killed the game. There's a wrap shot over the keeper, and Folks is running back towards the third man boundary, and Topley's coming round as well. He can't cut it off, and that's 4 runs for Ian Holland, and that is his 50, and that's come off 38 deliveries with 2 4s and 2 6s.
Great innings. Well played, Ian Holland. Really good innings this, in tough circumstances, with everything else that's been going on today for Hampshire. And he's come out there with Hampshire in trouble. And he's playing a little gem here. He really is.
Certainly is. Thank you to Joel at Solent Sport, who's just tweeted me saying it's now Ian Holland's highest T20 score, surpassing the 36 not out that he got against Sussex at Hove earlier this season. He's still a relative newcomer to T20 cricket, although he has played all the games this year. As Plunkett bowls, he's gone full, and Holland works that out to deep mid-wicket. Jacks comes in off the boundary. Holland moves on to 51, 106 for 4, 15 gone, 16 gone. No, it's 15 gone, 5 to do.
I like the fact you've got your own stats man these days, Jamie.
Oh yeah,
there's
no point in working out myself.
It's quite right too. Yeah. It's about time you had your own Zaltzman.
Yes.
5 overs remaining then. 106 for 4. Ben Folks and his long hair is waiting for the helmet to come out, because Will Jacks is back into the attack from the pavilion end to bowl the 16th over.
Yeah. Is he growing his hair, Ben Folks?
It's gone. It's just gone now.
I
think that's the best description. It started in lockdown. He's just let it go now. I'm sure he'll have it cut one day. I could, well, as a man of mullet myself, But it's the flowing locks of Ben Foakes. 106 for 4 as Jacks then. Oh, and the reverse something's out here from Holland. Not sure whether that's reverse sweep, pull. Didn't get anything on it, and it's into the gloves of Ben Foakes.
He seemed to have a long time to play that shot. I'm quite surprised he missed it. It was the right length to do it as well.
Jacks is in. This time he's just down the pitch, turning into the leg side. And they're going to pick up a single as Jamie Overton does the fielding. Holland moves on to 52. 107 for 4 now. Hampshire. The Hampshire flag is fluttering in the breeze there away to our left-hand side. Bit of a breeze across the ground today. Very nice day for cricket though. Nice temperature as Jacks is in. Quicker one. This one's turned into the leg side by Fuller. You move on to 16. 108 for. Have to say, at 6:30 this morning when I was getting my washing off the line, Kevin James, it was quite chilly.
Was it?
This morning? But then as soon as the sun started doing its stuff, it actually now is a very nice temperature. As Jacks is in over the wicket once again, and this is swung leg side by Holland. One bounce out towards deep mid wicket. There's Jamie Overton to do the fielding, and Holland will pick up another single. 53.
It's definitely the most breezy day we've had. Of course, we haven't been at the Aegeus until last week with Hampshire, so it's not like we've been here since the beginning of August. Not Hampshire haven't anyway, but it's definitely the breeziest day we've had.
Jacks is in and sweeping. Here is Fuller. That's hit the pad, I think. That's running away down towards the fine leg boundary rope. Moriarty does well, dives, gets it inside the rope, but they're going to get back for 3. And this will be 3 more to the total. 3 leg byes. The signal from Rob Bailey down there below us. So 112 for 4. Holland will come back onto strike on 53. So doing a good job here. Holland and Fuller. 62 they've added now. Jacks is in. Holland's down the ground. Has he got enough of this? He certainly has. That's 6 more. Great shot again from Holland. He's having an afternoon in the sun here, is Ian Holland, and you probably heard the noise of the ball slamming into something down below us, but his third 6. And Holland moves on to 59, and Hampshire move on to 118 for 4.
Well, this is more like it from Hampshire. I haven't seen this too often in this competition. It's very easy to look at the scoreboard and say, yeah, it's Ian Holland's highest total in this competition, and say it's the best he's batted, but I'm going to refrain from using that. But I think I've seen him strike it better. I don't. Well, let's put it this way: I don't think I've seen him strike it better than what I've seen today. It's been some clean hitting from him.
You said it though. He sort of found his timing the longer his innings has gone on, because he wasn't really timing anything at the start, was he?
Reece top.
Any entrepreneur knows that in business, any decision must be deliberate.
At the ground that he played for 3 seasons here for Hampshire, although most of the time, of course, he wasn't actually on the ground, if you know what I mean. 118 for 4, sort of nursing his way back to fitness, wasn't he? He's round the wicket there to Fuller, who works that into the gaps. Quite big gaps on the offside, actually. Extra cover, that's Burns fielding there. On the 45, there's Jason Roy. And then the other 3 fielders on the offside are all on the boundary at deep mid-off, deep cover and deep backward point.
Yeah. All well in this comp for Surrey so far, Topley.
19 for 4, and Holland's going to play the ramp shot, or attempted ramp shot over the keeper. He got it before, but not on this occasion.
That was a slower ball. And again, Ian Holland there's played it about 4 times before he got to it, and then missed it. So that would look very strange on a replay on the live stream, that shot from Holland.
7 wickets for Topley in this competition. Economy rate of just under 8.
He's a good guy to have at the back end,
Yes.
though. He knows exactly what he's up to.
Yeah, the odd game he played here, he did well. Now there's another hit over the onside, and he's got it over square leg, but not over Will Jacks, and they'll come back for 2. Jacks moving to his right at deep mid wicket.
Made a horrible noise off his bat, didn't it? I think that came straight off the toe end there from Holland. And gets a couple. Actually, probably a good thing he didn't get more of it, really. Although he has slung one off Plunkett, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Straight into the seats.
Yeah, we haven't yet seen anybody actually go to the top of the seated area and have to sort of run over the concreted Boehm area to go and get a ball. We haven't actually seen one as big as that yet. Still a game here and another game on Sunday. That's outside the off stump. Player missing outside the off stump there, Holland.
Well, did you see that shot that Sam Billings played in the last ODI at Old Trafford, which ended up in the net? It bounced into the car park, hit the concrete, and just bounced off Mitchell Stark, of all people. Wow.
Bounced off Mitchell Stark?
No, he was bowling.
Oh,
bowling,
sorry.
but it was, and it bounced into the car park,
Wow.
bounced, hit the concrete, and went in the net.
Topley outside the off stump, and that's hit away in the air, but safe to backward of point, and they'll turn for 2. Good throw. I think that's Plunkett down there, isn't it? Just to our right, and throw just slightly over Ben Folkes' head.
They've run well, these two, as well, haven't they? And they've done that old trick of bunt it into a gap and hammer the first and get back for the second. They've done it very well.
73 they've now put on, and they came together in the 9th over. Here we are coming towards the end of the 17th. Holland's back on strike. 63 off 47. Here's Topley round the wicket again. Bowls. It's full outside the off stump. It's well bowled. Holland tried to work that through the offside, missed. And Topley has completed 3 overs now. 1 for 19. Hampshire 123 for 4 with 3 left.
Yeah, very good. This from Holland and Fuller. They're giving Hampshire a target to defend at the moment. It looked a bit of a way off when they found themselves 50 for 4. I'm just looking at now this partnership is now worth 73.
Yeah.
The best ever 5th wicket partnership for Hampshire against Surrey in T20 cricket, Kevin James. 76. Sean Udall and Dimitri Mascarenhas at the Oval in 2004. So could we see? Oh, that'll be on the wires, won't it? If they go past that. So Overton's having a long chat here with Rory Burns, and it'll be Overton to bowl the 18th over.
Great call up of a stat from you.
Thank you. They're all up here, Kevin James.
Well,
they're all locked away. As thank you, Marcus. In over the wicket then comes Overton to Fuller, and Fuller turns this one down the ground. They want 2. They should get 2. Plunkett's got a long way to come in off that long on boundary rope again. So sensibly done by Fuller and Holland. Don't have to biff the ball everywhere. Sensibly played. On to 19. Hampshire 125 for 4. The partnership's worth 75. Could we have a new record? I'll hand to you here, Kevin Jones, because you're about to do an update.
Thank you very much. Yes, for BBC Radio Silent listeners on the south coast. That's turned away on the onside by Fuller, who looked quite disappointed, actually. Oh, he's hit the stumps. That's why his back foot has slipped back, and it's just hit the base of the stumps, and he's out for 19, and Hampshire are 125 for 5.
What a way to go.
And what a way, looked disappointed, having hit just a single. So that partnership of 75, am I right in saying equals?
One too few. One too few.
He didn't want it enough. So that's out hit wicket, is that right?
Yes. He's trod on his stumps.
And does that get credited to the bowler? Yes, it does.
It does.
Jamie Overton.
Sanitizers contain water, which can damage your gadgets. Introducing Bacto-V Gadget Disinfectant. With 99.7% alcohol, no added water, Bacto-V kills germs, not your gadgets. Bacto-V, bacteria and viruses killing expert.
मास्क चेहरों पर लगाएंगे, इमोशंस पर नहीं।
सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग करते रहेंगे और डांसिंग भी। हर मौसम में संग रहेंगे। वन फैमिली है, वन रहेंगे।
हम हैं वन फैमिली।
हम हैं मुंबई इंडियंस।
दुनिया हिला देंगे हम, दुनिया हिला दे हम।
Of COVID tests. Live commentary right now via the BBC Sport website and app.
Thank you, Kevin. In football, Portsmouth have announced that.
Yeah, that was, well, maybe there were two things. He was very disappointed, obviously, having just trod on his stumps, but also maybe he knew, maybe he had that that partnership record in the back of his mind and was thinking, oh, almost. But how unlucky is that?
Yeah.
Got so deep in the crease as he set off for the run, he just trod on his off stump.
It's interesting. I'll come back to that in a moment. You're doing this over, aren't you?
Yeah, here comes Overton to Curry, and the first ball short, and that hurries Curry up, and he's somehow pushed that into the leg side to pick up a single, and Curry is off the mark. It gets Holland back on strike, 126 for 5.
I don't know what footwear he wears, but a couple of times when he got a quick 550 here against Kent, he slipped going for a second run. And yet,
could have been that.
Usually when you've sort of just hit your stumps, don't you, with your back foot, again, that's usually a slip. It means your back foot hasn't actually sort of found a, I don't know, hasn't lodged into the surface as it's slipped across the top.
I just wonder, for the nature of the shot, whether he just literally pushed back and trod straight on his stumps. As Overton's in, Holland's pulling out towards deep mid-wicket. There's Will Jacks to do the fielding as the throw comes in. One more to the total. So if Overton gets that wicket, which he does, that's his first wicket for Surrey in T20 cricket. So there you go. There's a way to get your first wicket for Surrey in T20 cricket.
That's one to talk about, isn't it?
Exactly.
I got the batsman hit wicket.
Trod on his stumps. Curry settles down over his bat. Tall right-hander, Curry. As in comes Overton to him, and Curry turns this off his hip into the leg side. Will get a single. And it'll be one more to the total. And one more to Curry. He moves on to 2. But it's a shame that, because Fuller and Holland were doing a terrific job there for Hampshire.
75 in 9 overs.
They all count, though, as they say. They all count. Jamie Overton turning down below us. Runs away in over the wicket to Holland, and Holland turns this one neatly and tidily again down towards Moriarty at fine leg, and they'll take the single. That's the end of the over. Eventful one. Good one from Jamie Overton, because just the 6 runs off it at this stage. 18 gone, and Hampshire are 129 for 5.
So Scott Curry playing just his 4th T20 match, the 19-year-old, all this summer. Another example, isn't it, of youngsters getting
good
opportunities that perhaps they wouldn't otherwise have in a normal season. I just want to quickly mention this tweet, if that's all right, Mr. Church. Tony Cox at Solent Sports says, good to hear you on the commentary team. He says, can you explain why Hampshire didn't have Abbott or Russo playing for us this summer, and yet Morkel and Hashim Amla we're both playing for county sides. I think that's what he means, Hashim Amla. I don't know. It looks like a spelling mistake. Morkel, I believe, was coming from Australia, wasn't
Australia,
he? For you guys, so that's slightly easier. I guess it was slightly easier. I don't know. I didn't try booking a flight to Australia. That's hit in the air, and that's caught on the 45 by Liam Plunkett, and that's the end of Ian Holland. Full delivery outside the off stump. Holland guided it behind the stumps, but it was straight to Plunkett, and Holland goes for 65. And Hampshire now 129 for 6.
Yeah, very well batted, Ian Holland. He was just trying to run that down to third man and just guided it straight to Plunkett. But that's been a very good inning. 65 from 51 deliveries with 2 4s and 3 6s. And he's giving Hampshire a fighting chance here with that innings. So very well played, Ian Holland. He did some damage against Surrey with the ball in the Bob Willis Trophy at Arundel. He's done a bit of damage today with the bat against Surrey in the T20. But it's done it at a time where his side really needed it, which is the key thing.
Now, Calvin Harrison is the new batsman for Hampshire. 22-year-old, made his T20 debut for Hampshire earlier in this competition against Sussex here. 1 for 39. He's a leg spinner.
Lovely.
Doesn't actually have a squad number. Liam was telling me about him actually the other day, how he'd been training and practicing with Hampshire for quite a few months actually, since last winter, and played, I think his first class cricket he played at Oxford Uni, but he's with Hampshire.
Oh, it's good to see another leggy playing T20 cricket. It's good, isn't it?
Well, quite well actually against Sussex.
A couple of games. We had Will Beer the other night, and then the young leggy at Middlesex, and Nathan Souter as well. There's a few around now. Mason Cranicle.
Here's Topley, bowls, and it's a full delivery, and Calvin Harrison goes first delivery. Leg stump, full delivery there from Topley coming over the wicket. Harrison trying to work that on the onside, and Hampshire now are 129 for 7, and Reece Topley, against one of his former counties, is now on a hat-trick.
He is, and it's a good first delivery to get, isn't it? Again, it was a bit like the delivery he did Muncie with the first ball of the game. He's got it right up in the block hole. And Harrison playing around it, and the finger going straight up. So yes, Reece Topley's on a hat-trick here, and again, exactly what we were talking about, Mr. James. This is why he's so good.
Yeah.
Back end of an innings, and he's picked up 2 in 2 balls just to completely halt the M word, any momentum that Hampshire had. He's completely locked it down now.
Certainly has. Kevin James and I
Mark
forgot your
Church.
name for Mark
Thanks
Church.
for that.
I was just looking at something.
No, don't worry. I've only been working with you 20 years, but don't worry about it.
I can't believe I'd have seen your moment then.
It's fine.
Chris Wood is the new man on a hat-trick. Sorry, you know when you just have your mind suddenly goes blank. I'll tell you why, because BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra listeners are with us as well.
No, just as you forgot my name.
Yes, I did. Yeah. So I was going to call you Sports Extra there for a minute. 129 for 7 then. Reece Topley, who's already got George Muncie out, very first delivery of the Hampshire innings, is on a hat-trick here, bowling to Chris Wood, and bowls, it's full, and Wood keeps it out, plays it out on the offside, and that's the end of the over. I'll just quickly run through the situation here, because whilst Hampshire come into this game having lost 5, bottom of the South Group table, Surrey come into this game having won 5. Hampshire not only have got a few problems and the way they're playing this competition, but they also have several players out of this game who are self-isolating and awaiting COVID results. As Topley bowls, and that's pulled away by Wood behind square on the leg side. There'll only be a single there, as that's fielded by Jamie Smith, who throws the ball back into Ben Folkes. Hampshire 130 for 7. Sam Northeast not playing in this game. Lewis McManus, the wicket-keeper, not playing this game, nor is Mason Crane, and the leg spinner, who's been playing quite well in this tournament.
Yeah, and it hasn't been the most ideal preparation for Hampshire coming into this one. As you're saying, Mr. James, off the back of 5 straight defeats as well. But thanks to Ian Holland, they're putting something on the board here.
Topley's round the wicket. That's a nice drive. Oh, brilliant caught at extra cover by Rory Burns. It was drilled at him about chest height, and Burns holds onto it. Curry goes for 2. And Hampshire are losing quick wickets here. They're now 130 for 8.
That's 3 in the over for Reece Topley. That's a heck of a catch from Rory Burns, because Curry absolutely nailed that. And he was like a goalkeeper there. Rory Burns to his left-hand side. Took him off his feet because Curry hit it so hard. But that's 3 in the over now for Reece Topley. So Topley's now got 4 for 20. And very impressive figures from Reece Topley. But Curry absolutely nailed that, and Rory Burns at short extra cover to his left-hand side hung on quite brilliantly to that catch. 130 for 8, and Topley started all of this with the first ball of the game, bowling Muncie with the perfect Yorker.
Yeah.
Ian Holland, very fine innings of 65, and a partnership with James Fuller of 75. There hasn't been a lot else from a Hampshire perspective, and Reece Topley here doing exactly what he is paid to do. He has shut this innings down completely now.
So last ball of the 19th, he's round the wicket, and Stevenson, the new batsman, just guides that to backward point. That's the end of the over. 1 over left. Hampshire 130 for 8. Reece Topley's figures of 4 for 20 are a new best bowling figures for him in T20.
Excellent, and yeah, he's bowled very, very well today, and set the tempo for Surrey with the first delivery of the game. It's not a bad 19th over, that. 1 run off it and 3 wickets. So, yeah, you're quite happy with that if you're Rory Burns, the captain. So it's going to be Jamie Overton to bowl the final over of this Hampshire innings at 130 for 8 on the most gorgeous day down here in Southampton. Blue sky, sun beating down. The nice thing is, a few sort of spectators have come and got themselves hotel rooms in the hotel, which is now open. So they're all sat on their balconies. So there is a little bit of atmosphere down there at the hotel end of the ground. as Wood will be on strike to Jamie Overton from the pavilion end. Final over then, and Wood swings at this bottom edge. This will run away down towards that fine leg boundary rope, and brilliant effort to get round to that. That's Dan Moriarty down there. That's a terrific bit of work from Dan Moriarty, and he gets a boot to say well done from Reece Topley. So Wood moves on to 4. 3 runs there for Hampshire, 133 for 8. We're in a very nice plush hospitality suite, which is acting as the Kevin James commentary box here at the Ageas Bowl. There is a sign on the door, but it's very spacious. There's a sofa and all sorts. As Overton is in over the wicket to Stevenson, who's looking to cut that. Beats the outside edge of the bat. That's in Folks, moving away to his right-hand side. Ground staff there to our right, getting ready to come out and do their bits and pieces at half-time.
Nice maroon tops.
Yeah, very smart. Still in shorts, of course, in September with this heat wave that we've got at the moment. Let's hope that stays for a bit longer. As Overton charging in again. Over the wicket he comes to Stevenson. Stevenson slaps this off the back foot straight to Rory Burns at short extra cover. They'll get a single. Stevenson off the mark. That brings Wood back onto strike on 4. So Hampshire have something to defend, but you feel they're going to have to bowl out of their skins against a very strong looking Surrey batting lineup. Just on the Surrey side, no Hashim Amla with a slight injury. So guess who comes into the side? A lad called Jason Roy. As this one swung into the leg side by Wood up towards mid-on. He'll be keen as well, Jason Roy, to make some runs. Been a bit shorter than this summer. Single there for Wood. He's on to 5. 135 for 8. And Laurie Evans, who wasn't allowed to play against Sussex as part of his loan deal in the last game, comes back into the side, and Ricky Clark has dropped out. As turning once again is Jamie Overton. He comes charging in once more over the wicket to Stevenson, and Stevenson swings down the ground. He's got quite a lot of this as Stevenson. 1 bounce, 2 bounces, and back comes Jamie Smith below us, and they'll pick up a couple more. 2 more to the total. 137 for 8. Hampshire stuck in by Surrey. Reece Topley 4 for 20, including 3 wickets in the 19th over. And this is the last delivery of this Hampshire innings. What can they get off this last ball? Plunkett's been deposited to long on. Stevenson on strike. As in over the wicket goes Overton, and Stevenson swings this. 1 bounce out towards deep mid-wicket. They won't come back for the second because Jack's with the throw. 1 bounce over the top of the stumps. That's the Hampshire innings done and dusted, and Hampshire have posted 138 for 8. So it'll be 139 for Surrey to win.
It certainly will. Take a well-earned break, Mr. Church, because you've been on the whole 20 overs. We're staying on BBC Online. We're also staying with you on the stream as the players make their way off the playing area, with Chris Wood not out 5 and Ryan Stevenson not out 4. Mark Church takes a break. I'll bring in Liam Dawson, Hampshire's injured all-rounder, in a moment. Just want to go through a couple of tweets which I missed. Well spotted Kevin Field at Sonar Sport, who says, Overton to Stevenson, that's Devon to Devon. Of course. We should have known. He also says, he's also tweeted a little bit earlier, why didn't we say Devon to Devon? It would have been so easy. Disappointed with that, disappointed, this is Kevin Field again. Disappointed that with no prospect of success in the T20, Hampshire haven't been more innovative over the last few games. Fuller could have opened, or in brackets, or even one of the tail enders could have gone in for a pinch hit, close brackets. Also, no spin used in power play. Maybe Harrison today. Actually, we might get Liam Dawson to come in and maybe give his thoughts on perhaps maybe Hampshire could have changed things around a little bit.
I don't agree with the Fuller opening the batting at all. I think obviously people look at the scorecard and see that we've been losing early wickets, but you know, James Fuller's role is to come in like he did in a couple of games ago and finish games of cricket off, where he got, I think, 50 off 20 balls. So it's a tough role to fill. you know, and certainly that's not the way to go by opening the batting with James Fuller.
No, okay, that's pretty much put that to bed, I think. Joel at Silent Sports says, can we add Reece Topley to the growing list of players that always seem to perform against Hampshire, like Luke Wright and Zach Crawley? Have already been added in recent weeks. Can I actually just say, until Zach Crawley's last 2 innings against Hampshire, where he actually has, smacked it around and got 2 quick-fire hundreds, he'd actually got 0 and 0 in his previous 2 innings, wasn't it? The championship game last year at Canterbury, and then the first innings in that low-scoring, well, it was a low-scoring game until the second innings at Canterbury in the 4-day game. So it's not totally true. It's just that it seems like Zach Crawley always gets runs for Hampshire, but that hasn't always been the case. So 138 for 8. That would appear to be below par, Liam, wouldn't it?
You'd think so. You know, I think looks a pretty good wicket again, doesn't it? And you know, as a group, Hampshire didn't bat well at all again. Obviously, Ian Holland was a standout with 61, but yeah, not a great performance again from the Hampshire batting lineup.
Again, you know, early wickets, wasn't it? Muncie out first delivery. Felix Organ coming in, only his second game when he was out for 8. The score was 11 for 2. You know, again, I mean, the power play, we talked about power play, something A.D. Birrell talked about the power play, the Hampshire head coach, who's actually not on the ground today. Hampshire again, 41 for 2 in the power play. Oh, it was only 2 wickets for us. I suppose it's been a bonus over what's happened over the last few games. But, you know, again, on a wicket like this, you'd be looking at what sort of 50 odd at least minimum?
Yeah, 45 plus at least, wouldn't you, to be competitive? You know, 50. I think the way the game's going, the power play is such a huge part in the game. But I think for us as a group, it sums us up where we are as a team. We're not good enough at the minute. We have a hell of a lot of hard work to do to be, you know, successful again, because, you know, we can't live off what we've done, you know, years ago, because that's gone now. We've got a hell of a lot of work to do for next summer to improve.
But at the end of the day, you know, there's no Abbott, no Russo and players like that. And of course, because of the COVID situation, you've now got a few other players missing. I mean, I know Surrey can sort of almost get by losing 10 or 11 players. You know, every time you play against them, that seems to be regular, that there's 10 or 11 not available to Surrey for whatever reason. But I think for Hampshire, you know, we're talking, I mean, I'm just pulling the figure off the top of my head. Probably from a side that you would have expected to have been playing out there this afternoon, there's probably 6 or 7. That's a lot, you know, including yourself. That's a lot. It's
a lot of senior players, you're right. But at the end of the day, no matter if you have senior players or not, you've got to show a lot more fight than what we've shown. You know, and we haven't been beaten closely. We've been hammered in games. So it's not as if we're even competing. I think as a player, you can accept losing games of cricket, but it's how you lose those games of cricket. If you're not competing like we haven't competed in this competition, then that's where you've got to have a look at yourself personally and from a team point of view, because, you know, it's certainly not good enough, and it is frustrating. Yeah,
that's for sure. Just to remind you of the situation after 20 overs, Hampshire scoring 138 for 8. Ian Holland top scoring with 65. James Vince chipped in with 27. James Fuller with 19. And for Surrey, Reece Topley, formerly of this parish, picked up 4 wickets for 20. Will Jacks bowled well at the top of the innings, 1 for 22 as well. Do you think this is... I mean, you're not out there, Liam, you're not out there in the middle, so you're a little bit detached, maybe not as much as we are, myself and Mark, but, you know, you know you're part of the squad, but you're out here at the moment. Do you think that the way Hampshire have played in this competition this season, and let's be honest, it hasn't been great in the previous couple of seasons or so anyway, that there's a danger now that the success seems so far away, the way you guys were playing seems so far in the distance that maybe you've forgotten how to put together a long, good run in this competition? Agreed.
And I also think when we were playing really good cricket, teams didn't enjoy coming here. They didn't really know how to play here with the big boundaries. But now teams that have worked out how to play here, they play better than us here. You know, they hit the ball into gaps cleverly, and it's something as a batting group we haven't done. We haven't adapted at all, myself included. But it's work going forward that we have to improve on, because, you know, you play games of cricket to win and win trophies, and, you know, this year and the last couple of years we've not even been close.
Yeah. There was a tweet earlier which I don't think I fully answered, and you might be able to help me out with this as well, Liam. Tony Cox said, can you explain why Hampshire didn't have Abbott and Russo playing this summer, and yet Morkel and Hashim Amla were playing for Surrey. I think we got as far as to say Morkel came from Australia, so he wasn't actually coming from South Africa, so I think flight situations were slightly easier. Amler did come from South Africa, so obviously he found a flight in some way. But I don't think it was that easy for Kyle Abbott, was it?
Oh, I honestly don't really know.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I think that's something for Giles White or Eddie Birrell to answer. I wouldn't have a clue.
Okay, well, I spoke to Carl over there in South Africa, and I have sort of spoken to the Hampshire staff, and I think there came a point where, because Carl hadn't been able to do any, playing much, because obviously they couldn't over there in lockdown, that sort of stuff. And I think, I mean, I can only guess in a way that two counties that didn't furlough their players were Surrey and Lancashire. So I think the fact that all the other counties that furloughed gives you some sort of idea on financial situations, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's why, Emler came over, and maybe by Carl, I think he got to a point where maybe, it wasn't worth Hampshire bringing Kyle Abbott over. I don't think it was just about the money. I don't know that for sure, but I'm sort of trying to put 2 and 2 together and make 4 in a way. But I think also the fact that it got to a point in the season where, maybe Hampshire felt that let's give some of the youngsters a go, and it has worked, I guess, in certain ways. I mean, several of them are playing here. I know it's difficult for them coming into a side that's not doing great, but I think certainly in the Bob Willis Trophy, Liam, I mean, 1 or 2 of the young Hampshire brigade actually have shown something, haven't they? Yeah,
without doubt. I mean, Joe Weatherly opening the batting. And it was a big year for Joe, and he came into the side and did a brilliant job. He faced a lot of balls and took a lot of pressure off the middle order, so all credit to him. Felix Organ with the ball, done an exceptional job, got a 5 for, filled in brilliantly for me at Radlett when obviously I went down with the injury. So, yeah, I think from a 4-day point of view, there's definitely been enough positives there, which is exciting going forward, because I think as a club we've shown, last year finishing 3rd, that we do take the championship seriously now. And but yeah, there has been positives, but certainly not from a T20 point of view. Yeah,
I'm just going to go back to the point you made about not agreeing with James Fuller going up the order, and that Kevin Fields come back on the tweets here at Solent Sport. He's been listening to your answer. He says, Liam, you've won 1 game out of 8. Not Liam, not you personally, but he's talking about the team. If you keep doing the same things, then you'll get the same result. The way Fuller has batted, if he could bat through the Hampshire innings, might actually win a game. When things don't work, you change it. That's what management is all about.
It's like playing a centre-back up front, isn't it? If you score a few goals as a centre-back, it's a completely different role. He's got to go in facing a brand new ball that swings. And he comes in later down the order when the ball doesn't swing. So it's a completely different role. It's a role that he's never done throughout his career. So, yeah, in my opinion, it's not a good idea at all.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there. A couple of other games going on this afternoon in the South Group. I can give you a few more details, actually. The Essex Eagles batted first against the Kent Spitfires. Essex finished on 167 for 9. Ryan Tenderscarter at it again once more. 52 for him. Delport and Wesley put on a few at the top of the innings. Delport with 28 and Wesley with 39. So decent total there. What did they? They put on 54 for the first wicket in the 5th over. So that's the situation at the break. I think that game's been played at Canterbury. I think I just saw that. And also Middlesex have completed their innings against Sussex. Middlesex 155 for 8 off their 20 overs. The top scorer there was wicketkeeper John Simpson, who made 46, 37 from Cracknell, not the rower. It's another one, isn't it? He got runs, I think, in the last game. I think I'm right in saying that's a new name to me. And Holman got 35 there as well. So a couple of teams that are sort of snapping at Surrey's heels near the top of the group. Surrey looking favourites for a home T20 quarter-final game, but of course there's these round of games, and then on Sunday, I think everybody's playing on Sunday. I think Mark Church is nodding his head. Thank you very much. He's got me out of another corner out of that one. Myself and Mark Church will be back with you tomorrow. Vipers against the South East Stars in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy. Now, where are Hampshire going to win this game, Liam?
Well, I think the only way they can win this game is with the new ball. I think Shine Afridi has got to come out. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to bowl quickly and make early inroads into that Surrey team. There's no Mason Crane, who's a massive loss. He's the wicket taker in the middle of the innings, but I think that the big wicket taker in this innings is Shine Afridi. So he's going to have to come to the fore and put a match-winning performance in.
You say take wickets, but that's something he actually hasn't done in this competition. He's taken one so far, Afridi.
Yeah, he has, and I'm sure he'll be very disappointed because he's an exceptional bowler. I think the other night, the way he bowled that last over, only went for a few runs, shows how good he is. But certainly with a new ball, you'd have expected him to take a lot more with the control and the pace that he's got. But hopefully today's the day because, you know, Hampshire are going to really need him.
How would you describe the wicket? Because there's a bit of turn there as well, but there's a bit of bounce, isn't there?
It looks another good wicket, to be fair, isn't it? I mean, there's been a little bit of turn, a little bit of hold, but I think it's a good pitch, and it's going to be hard for Hampshire to win this game without early wickets.
Calvin Harrison, leg spinner. Felix Organ, off spinner. Are you expecting them to, as long as things don't get out of hand, they'll bowl 8 between them, do you think?
You'd hope so. I think, as you know, we've always spoke about 2 spinners here has always been very, very effective. I think they will bowl their 8 if Hampshire do make early inroads into this Surrey team, but it could be tough if they get off to a good start. And you know, the 2 bowlers that are not big spinners of the ball, so it could be tough for them to take wickets if Hampshire don't take early wickets.
Stay with us, if that's all right for Liam. We'll give Mark Church a few overs off, if he's all right with that. He's just smiled, so without him nodding his head, I knew that was music to his ears, because there's a big beaming smile as soon as I heard, do you want a few overs off, Mark Church? So Mark Church will be back with us in a few overs' time. The Hampshire boys are out there in the middle, and the 2 Surrey openers are out there as well. And reminder that Surrey here are chasing 139 for victory after Hampshire posted a total of 138 for 8. And we've just been talking about him. That man, Shaheen Afridi, left arm over, will be bowling the first over for Hampshire. And it's going to be Jason Roy back in the Surrey shirt for the first time since the Bob Willis Trophy match at Arundel against Hampshire. He's going to be facing the first delivery, and Will Jacks is the non-striker. This
will be a great contest between Roy and Afridi. I think this is where I think you watch international players have played a lot of cricket, and they certainly up their game. You know, when they either bat against someone or face them. I think this could be a great contest.
Looking forward to it. As Jason Roy, I think we all know, is probably, stats would suggest he's a better white ball than red ball player. He'll certainly look to play a few shots if the ball's in the right areas, and in fact play a few even if it isn't, as he's on the back foot there and just pushes that up to mid-off, and immediately he's off the mark. And that run looked a fairly easy run up towards Ian Holland.
I think Jason will be the first to admit that he's probably lacked a few runs this summer, but he's one of those players that, you know, no matter what form he's in, you'd pick him every single game in your team, because he's a match winner and he can play innings that not many people can play. So you have to stick with a player like this. So Will Jacks, the other opening bat, will face the next delivery. Afridi's bowling from the hotel end. It's got a slip in. It's Felix Organ as Afridi bowls, and Jacks gets one. It's a length ball, pushes that out into the covers, and there is no run. And you've seen so much of Hampshire over the years, Jamie. What do you think that Hampshire need to improve in this format? Well, you're right about confidence and getting on a roll. That's the first and foremost, isn't it? But I think there needs to be somebody else up top, doesn't there? There needs to be somebody up top that... what's been quite interesting over the last few years, because it hasn't quite gone right, hasn't it, over the last 3 years or so. Here's Afridi bowls, and that's whipped away by Will Jacks, and that's gone backward of square leg, and that's gone for 4 runs. Nice shot. I mean, was it? There was Colin Munro one year. Obviously, there's been Riley Russo, and I think the feature of Hampshire's play since the glory days, if you want to put it that way, is that even with players that hit the ball hard and can hit the ball long up top, they've all seemed to hit the ball a little bit too much in the air. You know what I mean? If you hit every shot in the air, you're going to be out caught. It's finding that balance of attacking, and it's just being aggressive and smart, I guess, and it's knowing when to sit in. I mean, you can always have an over or 2 in the power play. You still have 4 overs to score. Yeah, the Afridi bowls, and that's a nice drive through extra cover. Super shot, Will Jacks. My word, that's been drilled. That's a la Zach Crawley. It's an unbelievable shot, isn't it? Probably a little bit full from Afridi, but the right thing to do, because he's going to be looking to swing this new white ball. But obviously no swing there, and an exceptional shot from Jacks. But I do agree with your point. You know, we've probably been a little bit too gun-ho over the last few years. But you need to still be aggressive. But it's also being smart. You know, you haven't got to go in the first or second over sometimes. It's all about getting yourself in And then, you know, the next 4 overs, if you haven't lost a wicket, then you can really, really go, because you've earned the right to almost lose a wicket.
Yeah, I agree. And you haven't really had... Actually, I don't know. I really need to think about that for the moment. During this ball, there's a Freedy bowls, and that's whipped away very quickly to mid-wicket, and there's no run. I think, actually, you've done it once or twice, actually, to be fair, quite well. But I think sometimes, if the first couple of overs don't go very well, even if it's a spinner, doesn't matter who it is, there's always been somebody in the past to go to, just for a quiet over or two from one end. Danny Briggs fulfilled that role pretty well, didn't he? I mean, you've done it. You know, you've done it well a couple of times. Don't get me wrong, but I think generally, I mean, I'm thinking of, gosh, who was the Aussie here? Played a couple of T20s one year, and he wasn't. I didn't think he was actually particularly ideal T20 bowler. That's whipped away over mid-wicket. Runs here off the bat of Will Jacks, and the ball's just plugged a little bit in the outfield, and it's just been stopped from going over the rope on the left-hand side of the ground as we look. But the batsman will run through for 3. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. The Aussie, he was injured for a little while. 2015.
Not Dan Christian, no?
No, not Dan Christian. I'll think of his name in a moment. But, you know, he played a couple of T20s here just before he went back to Australia. And he got hit a bit. But you guys always seem to have somebody just to come on and just quieten it down for 2 overs. You don't seem to have that at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not... Yeah, I see what you're saying there, but, I mean, I personally think that our bowling has been okay over the years. It's our batting that needs a huge improvement. So I think if we get runs on the board, our bowling attack is, you know, is good enough to defend anything. I know we lost to Zach Crawley's unbelievable innings the other day, defending 180, but
happens.
I think our bowling attack is pretty well suited at the minute.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I just think because when you're losing matches, you tend to look at every area going, don't you? And maybe sometimes over-analyse things when sometimes things don't need to be analysed. Felix Organ then with his off-spin is going to open the bowling from our commentary end, the Rob Brownsgrove Pavilion end, and that's worked to square leg by Will Jackson. There's no run.
I think Felix Organ is going to be a brilliant cricketer. You know, he gets good shape on the ball. He bowls at a nice pace, and he loves bowling as well, which helps hugely.
Interesting. Will Jacks opened the bowling for Surrey with his off-spin to some success. And here's Organ as that's worked on the onside by Jacks. And quickly off the boundary is Ryan Stevenson, 13 without loss.
Felix left to be, you know, on the money here to Roy, because he's certainly going to take him down. Wouldn't surprise me if you see a reverse sweep or a pick-up sweep over square leg, who's up in the ring.
So you say reverse sweep because all the players on the offside are on the 30-yard
and he's very strong at that shot. He hits it very cleanly.
There's Organ then, and bowls, and Roy just pushes that up to mid-off. There's no run there, fielded by Chris Wood. So the players that are out in this power play are at deep mid-on and deep mid-wicket. Be interesting to see if Roy avoids those 2 areas, as Roy just whips that away and tries to get it past Organ, but Organ gets down low to his right and fields.
You look at Jason, he seems to be giving himself a bit more time, obviously a little bit out of form, and he's trying to get back into some form by seeing a few balls.
Yeah, he's he's 1 of 3 at the moment as he whips that away on the onside, all along the ground out to deep mid-wicket, and that's fielded by Ryan Stevenson. It's interesting, isn't it? He sort of has a little flick, doesn't he? He sort of waits and waits and then sort of punches the ball hard, doesn't he?
He's one of the blokes you bowl to in the nets, and he's not one that you want to hit back at you. He hits the ball so hard.
Does he?
Minimal effort.
Here's Organ to Jacks this time, and Jacks goes for the sweep, and that's over backward square leg, and it's over the head of James Fuller, and that's 4 runs.
Yeah, I think, you know, that was going to happen, wasn't it? I mean, it's a percentage shot. Felix Organ bowling off spin, ball spinning into the bat and sort of into the wicket a little bit, and he swept it over square leg there, so it's good batting.
So 2 gone, and Surrey have started reasonably well here, actually. 18 without loss, just 2 to Jason Roy, and 16 from Will Jacks, who's had a pretty good tournament with the bat as well as his bowling, averaging, well, we don't talk about averages, do we? But his strike rate is nearly 155.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you want, isn't it? I mean, anything over 135, I'd have said, is pretty good opening the batting, but to be up above 155 just shows, you know, why Surrey are, you know, at the right end of the table, obviously getting off to good starts consistently.
Now, Chris Wood is coming into the attack for Hampshire at the hotel end. I'm just looking at Jason Roy's strike rate, 144 actually in that, so bit of a difference as Wood comes in, and that's driven out to point, and there's no run. Jason Roy
just show, I think we spoke at the top in the innings that not having Mason Crane is going to be huge. I mean, it's to have a wrist spin in your team as good as Mason. You know, being able to spin the ball both ways, and you know, and he's experienced now. He's probably played 40 odd games, so he's going to be a big loss. And it's a tough job for Calvin Harrison to come in and do, to sort of try and fill his boots.
Yeah, he'll certainly get an opportunity this afternoon, that's for sure, as Wood bowls. That's a good delivery to Jason Roy, who just pushes that to Harrison at mid-wicket, and there's no run. The sun's just disappeared for the moment here at the Ageas Bowl, but still plenty of blue sky around.
I think Roy will be ticking now. You know, he's 2 off 6. Something, you can sense something that's going to happen.
Strike rate of 33 at the moment in his innings. You don't often see that. Take a picture of that, because it's not often that low. Here's Wood bowls, and Roy just whips that away, square on the leg side. Bit of a chase here, and that could... Oh, brilliant stop. Now, who's that down there? Because that is a super stop. Is that Organ? It is, isn't it? Yeah, a lot of ground to make. He may just have touched the rope, but the ball actually wasn't touching him at the time. So
brilliant bit of fielding. Excellent bit of fielding from Felix.
Certainly was. 20 without loss. Roy takes 2 for that. And,
yeah, this innings as well, I'd like to see James Fuller bowl. You know, I don't think he's bowled in the competition, has he? You know, he is an all-rounder. Hasn't had much faith shown in him with the ball, as Chris Wood comes into Jason Roy, back of a length, punched out to Fuller at extra cover. Yeah, I'd like to see him, you know, have a bowl in these next 2 games, just to see what he can do in this format. He hasn't bowled at all, so I think if he can improve his bowling, you know, he can be such a handy cricketer from this. You know, just to bowl a couple of overs or 1 over here or there.
He certainly hasn't bowled in the last few games. In fact, he hasn't bowled since... I'll wait that in a moment. Chris Wood was just running in. He hasn't bowled since the 3rd game, Essex at Chelmsford. Quite expensive, because he's got an economy rate of nearly 12.
Yeah. So
I think that probably has something to do with it. But you're right. Roy just uses his feet and comes down and just whips that away to Organ at deep square leg. And
he'll be ideal for us next year if he can come in bat number 5, number 6, depending on the situation, and offer an option with a ball. You know, that'll be massive for our team.
Yeah. Well, he's certainly been in good form with the bat. Hit 19 today, doesn't sound a lot, but a usual partnership of 75 with Ian Holland for the 5th wicket got Hampshire out of a bit of a hole. Here's Wood again and bowls, and that's whipped away hard to mid-wicket. That's a good stop by Calvin Harrison. That ends the over. 3 overs gone here. Surrey chasing 139 for victory, are 21 without loss.
Not noticed James Vince, have we, with the gloves? Must be doing a good job.
That's what it's all about. It's like a referee in football. I haven't noticed him. James Vince, yes, just to repeat, there are a few COVID problems in the Hampshire camp at the moment. Several players self-isolating. So I must admit, we saw, didn't we, in the warm-up, well, maybe before you came up, actually, Liam, I saw James Vince taking some balls when the bowlers were bowling on the side of the square and with the gloves. And we thought, that's a bit unusual, we don't normally see. And I just thought, oh, this is Hampshire's new ploy. You know, things aren't going very well in the T20, so they've rethought their tactics.
If it goes that bad, whip the gloves off, give it to someone else and have a bowl.
Who knows what will happen by Sunday? We could be having, I don't know, anybody wicket keeping, depending on what goes on. A new over from Organ sees Roy just push that out on the onside where there's plenty of gaps, and it's an easy single, 22 without loss.
Lovely bit of bowling from Felix. I think seeing Jason come down the wicket and bowled it a bit slower and shorter, and you know, said if he wants to try and take James Fuller on to that big boundary, good luck, but he decided just to clip it for 1.
Here's Organ again then, and bowls. That's cut away. Has he found the gap? I think he has, Jason Roy. There's a chase on here. It's going to be pulled up just inside the rope. And interesting relay piece of fielding. Was that Calvin Harrison? Trying to knock that back to one of the fielders and went miles over his head.
Well, I've never understood that. You know, it's such a frustrating thing. Coaches try and make you train it in. It's quicker just to pick the ball up yourself and throw it in as opposed to try and tag sometimes, and you get a mistake like that. I just don't see the point in it.
Yeah, this gives a runaway, isn't it, really? 24 without loss, and there's a hit from Jax, and he's gone. Or is that Jason Roy?
Roy.
Yeah, I think the scoreboard's got that wrong. That's Jason Roy batting, and he looks really disappointed there. And it's caught by Chris Wood, who's right on the 30-yard circle at mid-off. And Roy goes for 8. It's 24 for 1.
Yeah, I mean, good piece of bowling from Felix Organ there. Didn't give him as a fraction bit of room, but Jason, with the form that he's in, you know, probably not happy with that shot. But it's a good wicket for Hampshire, and hopefully this can be the start of a bit of momentum in this innings for us.
So good catch from Chris Wood, and Felix Organ playing just his second game in this competition. Played against Surrey earlier, takes his first wicket in T20 cricket, and it's not a bad one. The wicket of Jason Roy for 6.
It's a good one to get, isn't it?
Oh, it's a goodie. Yeah, you can dine out on that one for a while.
He'll be telling me about that in the car tonight. He's been my taxi at the minute.
Has he?
So he lives near me, so he's yeah, my taxi driver, which is good.
Better get the earmuffs out. Laurie Evans, who's back in the Surrey side, having under the terms of his deal from Sussex, wasn't allowed to play against them the other day, so he's back in the Surrey side, and he walks out at number 3, and he's going to be facing Felix Organ, who stays round the wicket to the right hand, who drives, and he gets a thick outside edge. It's going down towards the third man boundary, and that, I think, is going all the way. So Evans, although a little bit streaky, is off the mark with a boundary, and Surrey move on to 29 for 1.
Yeah, unlucky in it from Felix. You know, earned the right to bowl that ball a little bit slower, a little bit wider. You know, and that's exactly what he wanted him to do. But unlucky for him, you know, it went for 4.
Yeah. I was talking about James Vince behind the stumps. I don't think he's had to take one to Organ yet, so it's always the most difficult part of wicket keeping is standing up to the spinners as Organ bowls, and off the back foot there's a nice dive there from Organ. Make sure that Laurie Evans stays at that end. 29 for 1 then. Jack's at the non-strikers end.
Surprised that Laurie didn't stay at Sussex. I don't know what happened contract-wise, but he's a brilliant batter, and you know,
yeah,
I think they would have kept him.
I don't know. I hate to deal in rumours and gossip, as that's driven up, but I will. As that's driven up to mid-on, where it's fielded by Scott Curry, just because I don't know. Well, having done a couple of games there and sort of heard one or two little things, I think. And I think you have to agree with Jason Gillespie. They came something like 6th in Division 2 last year, and obviously that was a big disappointment, wasn't it? Around the, you know, so when there's 3 teams going up, I think Sussex were expecting to be one of those 3, and it didn't work, and whatever. And I think, and I haven't heard this from the horse's mouth, but Jason Gillespie wanted to change things around a little bit this year, because can't come, well, it's not the same season, but you know, things have to change if they want to do well. So I think like your Laurie Evans is, oh gosh, who's the other left-handed? Wells. 1 or 2 weren't playing in the first few games, and I don't think they were particularly happy that they weren't. They felt they should have been, and I think Laurie was one of those, as I understand it. If I'm wrong, please don't have a go at me too much. Afridi bowls, that's pushed out on the offside by Evans. No run, start of a new over, the 5th. I think that's what I was hearing.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, whether there was other little issues with Laurie Evans, I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. But
you've always played against him. He's always done extremely well here against us. He's a brilliant player.
Better one player than 4-day?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Evans faces Afridi. Afridi works that, or in fact, Evans works that through the onside for 4, through mid-wicket. Slightly over-pitched there from Afridi, but that's well-timed.
It is well-timed. It's a great shot. Again, not a great ball from Shine. He seems to have been a little bit reluctant, you know, when the ball hasn't swung. He seems to have stayed over the wicket a lot. I'd like to have seen him come round the wicket a bit more throughout this competition, because he hasn't got the ball to swing as much as I thought he would.
No. I'm not sure this is a big swinging ground, though, is it? I don't know. Sometimes the ball doesn't seem to swing at times when you think it will. That's a length ball, which Evans just pushes up towards extra cover. 34 for 1 here, Surrey. Remember, 139 the target. They need another 105 from here.
I think he's a bowler who's, you know, he'd probably be disappointed with only getting 1 wicket so far. But, you know, people forget that the lad's been away from home now for 3.5 months. The body's probably sore from the test matches and the one-days and the T20s. So, yeah, it's been tough for him. Yeah,
and all the practicing, I guess, in between, because there's nothing else to do. Evans drive, slightly uppish, but up towards mid-off, not completely timed. Holland Fields, 36 for 1. Yeah, well, there's nothing else to do but practice, is there?
No, there's not. I mean, you know, people, obviously, cricket is a great job, and, you know, we're very lucky to do what we do, but to spend the amount of time that he would have done in a hotel, you know, this year would have been nearly 3.5 months, as I said. It does definitely take its toll. It's difficult mentally. It gets difficult. So I think people do forget that you obviously want him to get runs, you want him to get wickets, and, you know, field well. But sometimes it is tough touring as long as he has.
A feed to Jackson. Drax drives, and he's found the gap between mid-off and extra cover. It was slightly aerial, but again, real venom in that shot. That's gone for 4.
Yeah, good shot. Again, probably a little bit too full. Yeah, ideally, I'd like to see him come round the wicket and you know, bowl a little bit shorter than what he's bowling now, with no swing. So I'm surprised James Vince hasn't suggested that to him.
Well, he's staying over the wicket at the hotel end, and Afridi's conceded 21 now with 1 ball left of his second over. Certainly no swing for him out there at the moment, and things looking quite tough for him as he comes in again and bowls to Jax, and Jax tries to whip that away on the onside, gets wrapped on the pad, called through for a single by Laurie Evans. Or is that off the bat? I think it's off the bat, as well as maybe a little inside edge onto the pad there. End of the over, and Surrey are